2 to 3 feet of snow, winds gusting to 70 miles per hour. A storm system that the National Weather Service is officially calling a potentially historic blizzard. Right now, at this very moment, Winter Storm Hernando is tearing through the most densely populated corridor in the United States, and millions of people are about to wake up to conditions they have never seen in their lifetime. This is February 23rd, 2026, and in the next several minutes, here is exactly what you are going to get. The precise snow totals for your specific city, the exact hour this storm peaks in your area, what you need to do in the next 60 minutes before conditions make it too late. And the one thing almost nobody is talking about that could make this far more dangerous than the snowfall itself. This is not a general weather overview, this is city by city, hour by hour. Philadelphia, New York City, Providence, Boston, Cape Cod, Long Island. If your city is anywhere from Washington, D.C. to Portland, Maine, the next 10 minutes are for you specifically. The information is coming. Do not go anywhere. If you want to stay updated as this storm evolves through Monday and as the next storm systems develop later this week, drop your city and state in the comments right now. I am reading every single comment and will be providing location-specific updates as new data comes in. Share this video with anyone you know in the affected areas. They need to see this before they step outside. Here is the important part. The National Weather Service has issued blizzard warnings for all 5 boroughs of New York City for the first time since 2017. That is 9 years. Boston has its first blizzard warning since January 28, 2022. But that is not the number that should alarm you most. The low-pressure system driving this storm started at 1,009 millibars and dropped explosively to 970 millibars overnight, officially qualifying it as a bomb cyclone, a term meteorologists use when a system intensifies at a rate considered explosive. This system is delivering snowfall rates of 2 to 4 inches per hour in the hardest-hit zones, not 2 to 4 inches total. 2 to 4 inches every single hour. At its worst, combined with 60 to 70 mile-per-hour wind gusts along the coastline, that means zero visibility, whiteout conditions. Roads that do not just become difficult to drive, they become impossible. Here is what nobody else is telling you about this storm. Tens of millions of people are currently underestimating it because the last major storm received far more attention than this one, and this one is categorically worse. It has been 2 decades since the Northeast Corridor saw a storm of this magnitude and track. If you are 30 years old and living in New York City, you have never experienced anything like what is happening outside your window right now. And the real danger, however, is still hours away for several major cities. We will get to that in a moment. To understand why this storm is so unusual, you need to understand what is happening in the atmosphere above the East Coast right now. A powerful low-pressure system that originated over the Gulf Stream off the Carolinas began at 1,009 millibars and has been rapidly intensifying as it tracks northeast along the coastline, bombing out all the way down to 970 millibars. Think of it like a vacuum cleaner. The deeper the low pressure drops, the harder it pulls moisture off the warm Atlantic Ocean and pumps it directly into the cold air mass sitting over the northeast. That combination, warm ocean moisture colliding with Arctic air, is the engine that creates historic snowfall. But here is what makes this particular storm so dangerous beyond just the snow. A drop from 1,009 to 970 millibars generates winds comparable to a Category 1 hurricane. Those winds are not just making the snow blow sideways, they are physically pushing the Atlantic Ocean inland. Storm surge along the Delaware and New Jersey coastlines is driving moderate to major coastal flooding, with the Delaware Bay River gauge potentially reaching major flood stage during Monday morning high tide. And here is a question worth asking. If models predicted this track and this intensity days in advance, why are so many people unprepared right now? Why is this storm getting significantly less media coverage than the smaller system that came before it? Here is your critical timeline, organized by where the storm is hitting and where it is going next. Washington, D.C. The worst of your storm has already passed. You are looking at a final total between 4 and 6 inches. Rain and mixed precipitation dominated your event, with winds making it feel like a full winter storm. The real story for D.C. is the severe cold arriving on the backside. By Tuesday morning, temperatures will drop near freezing. Ice on untreated surfaces will be a serious hazard through Wednesday. Philadelphia, listen carefully. As of early Monday morning, you are in the middle of it. Snow totals of 8 to 21 inches are projected by the time this system exits late Monday afternoon. Snowfall rates have been hitting 2 to 4 inches per hour through the overnight hours. By noon Monday, the heaviest bands will begin shifting north, but do not assume it is safe to travel. Wind gusts through the day will continue to create blizzard conditions even as new snowfall decreases. Your roads will not be passable until Tuesday morning at the earliest. New York City, this is your peak window. Right now through Monday midday is when you will see the worst of it. Over 2 feet of snow is projected on the high end, with some models showing totals above 24 inches in Brooklyn and Queens. Snowfall rates of 2 to 4 inches per hour through the overnight hours mean that by 6 a.m. Monday, you could already have a foot on the ground. The last time New York City saw over 12 inches in a single day was February 1, 2021, but that event was far less intense in terms of wind speed. This one has gusts at 60 to 70 miles per hour along the coast. Long Island, Brookhaven is looking at 28 inches. Do not be fooled by any lull you feel in early afternoon. The wind will maintain whiteout conditions for hours after new snowfall ends. Providence and Rhode Island. Here is the number that should get your attention: 30 inches. That is the high-end projection for portions of Rhode Island, particularly around Providence. You are in the extreme impact zone on the Winter Storm Severity Index, the highest classification issued. Your heaviest snow arrives Monday morning and continues through Monday evening. Travel will be completely impossible. Boston, your most dangerous window is Monday daytime, not overnight. The National Weather Service says your heaviest snow and gustiest winds arrive during the day on Monday. High-end totals reach 28 inches. If you are thinking about going to work Monday morning, you need to reconsider that right now. Cape Cod and Nantucket, you are looking at 20 to 24 inches. The combination of that snowfall and 60-mile-per-hour coastal winds will create drifts of several feet. But what comes after the storm exits is something most forecasters are not spending enough time on, and that is next. Do not skip this part. Here is what this storm actually looks like from the ground, and this is the section you came here for. Right now, across New Jersey, the most severely impacted state in this entire event, families are losing power with no restoration timeline. Wind gusts are snapping power lines across the state. In coastal communities from Cape May to Sandy Hook, the Atlantic Ocean is physically entering streets and ground floor residences. This is not flooding from snowmelt. This is the ocean being shoved inland by 60 to 70 mile-per-hour winds during high tide. People who chose not to evacuate those areas last night are waking up to water in their homes. In Philadelphia, snowplows were running all night but could not keep pace. 2 to 4 inches per hour means that by the time a plow clears a block, there is already 2 more inches on the road behind it. Drivers who ignored warnings and got onto the highway last night found themselves stranded, some for hours. Imagine stepping outside Monday morning in Brooklyn, New York. You open your door and the snow comes up to your knees. The street in front of your home is unrecognizable. There are no cars moving. The wind is screaming at 60 to 70 miles per hour, blowing snow horizontal. Visibility is effectively zero. You cannot see the house across the street. Your power went out at 3 a.m. The house is getting cold fast. And the forecast says it is not stopping for another 6 hours. For those 70 years old or older in the affected areas, this is one of perhaps 2 or 3 storms of this magnitude in your entire lifetime. For anyone under 30 in New York City, this is unprecedented in your adult experience. It has been 2 decades since a storm of this magnitude hit this general area. Let us recap what matters most right now. The low started at 1,009 millibars and bombed out to 970. Snowfall rates are 2 to 4 inches per hour. Wind gusts are 60 to 70 miles per hour along the coast. Providence is looking at 30 inches total. Boston is in the middle of a life-threatening event during Monday daytime hours. And we are not done yet with the threats. This is not hype. This is not exaggeration. the National Weather Service does not issue blizzard warnings for all 5 boroughs of New York City and call a storm potentially historic without serious justification. If you are in the affected zone right now, comment below with your city and what you are seeing outside. How much snow is on the ground where you are? Tell people what it looks like. Others are watching to understand what is coming their way. Here's the important part that affects everyone regardless of whether you are in the path of the snow. This is not just a snowstorm. We are looking at simultaneous blizzard conditions across 10 states, hurricane-force coastal winds generating significant storm surge flooding, widespread power outages with unknown restoration timelines, complete transportation system shutdowns in 3 of the largest cities in America, and a deep freeze descending on the entire eastern half of the country in the aftermath. 5 compounding disasters, all at once. Major airports across the Northeast have been effectively shut down since Sunday afternoon. Hundreds of flights have been canceled. The backlog will not clear for 48 to 72 hours minimum. Rail service along the Northeast Corridor, the busiest rail corridor in the United States, is suspended through at least Monday afternoon. Interstate 95 from Delaware to Massachusetts is closed in multiple sections. Power outage risks are described by utilities as extensive. In areas experiencing both heavy wet snow loading on lines and 60+ mile-per-hour winds, restoration times could stretch into days, not hours. If temperatures drop sharply after the storm, as forecast, homes without heat for more than 24 hours will reach dangerous indoor temperatures for vulnerable residents. But here is what most people have not fully calculated yet. Monday morning commute across the entire Boston to Philadelphia corridor is effectively canceled, and Tuesday morning may not be much better. Snow drifts of several feet will block roads that plows cannot physically access. This is not a situation that resolves overnight. Even snow plows cannot keep up with 2 to 4 inches falling every single hour. The last time New Jersey saw infrastructure disruption at this level was a benchmark storm that is still discussed as a generational event. And the cold air coming behind this one has not even arrived yet. That is coming, and it changes everything for the southern United States. Governors across the affected region declared states of emergency beginning Saturday evening. New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and Pennsylvania all activated emergency management protocols before the first flake fell in most areas. National Guard units were pre-positioned in New Jersey and New York for potential rescue operations. The National Weather Service issued its blizzard warnings for New York City and Boston with more than 24 hours of lead time, which is a significant achievement compared to similar historic events. The forecasting on this storm has been remarkably accurate. The challenge was not the warning. The challenge was getting people to take it seriously. And that raises a question worth sitting with. This storm is getting significantly less media attention and public preparation than the previous storm that moved through the region, even though this one is categorically more severe. Is that a failure of communication? Or is it something about how we process repeated warnings? Emergency managers across the region are asking that same question right now. State transportation departments deployed thousands of plow trucks but acknowledged the rate of snowfall exceeded their operational capacity in the peak hours. The decision was made in multiple states to issue formal no-travel advisories, effectively asking all civilian vehicles off the roads so emergency crews and plows could operate. In New Jersey, police are enforcing that order. Rescue calls are coming in for stranded motorists, residents needing medical assistance, and coastal flooding evacuations. Emergency response times in the hardest-hit areas are significantly delayed due to impassable roads. That is the reality of what a storm at this scale means operationally. If you are shoveling, take frequent breaks. Cardiac events during heavy snow removal are one of the leading causes of storm-related deaths. The snow is heavy and wet. The temperatures are dropping. Your heart is working harder than you realize. Here is the important part about what this storm means beyond the next 48 hours. Winter Storm Hernando does not exist in isolation. It is the most powerful event in a pattern that has delivered repeated significant winter storms to the eastern United States over the past several weeks. And this pattern is not finished. After this system exits late Monday, a secondary Arctic cold surge will drive below freezing temperatures deep into the south. Jacksonville, Florida will see freezing temperatures by Tuesday morning. Mobile, Alabama will wake up Tuesday near freezing as well. All of Alabama will be in the 20s Fahrenheit. Nashville will hit 20 degrees. St. Louis will be at 25. Chicago at 23. Toronto and Buffalo will sit between 5 and 10 degrees. The eastern half of this country is about to experience a cold snap that will extend from the Great Lakes all the way to the Gulf Coast and into Florida. But here's what nobody else is covering yet. This is not the last storm of the week. A second system, a Clipper event, will push through the Northeast Tuesday into Wednesday. Yes, on top of the 2 to 3 feet already on the ground, another few inches are possible. Then a third, potentially more significant storm develops Thursday into Friday, with a severe weather threat for the southeast and another snow threat for the northeast. That Thursday-Friday system looks warmer for the Interstate 95 corridor, but it is still a major event that demands attention. 3 storms in 1 week. Long-range models 2 weeks out suggest a pattern shift toward warmer than average conditions across the south and southwest. But before that arrives, we have to get through what is shaping up to be one of the most active final weeks of February in recent memory. I will be tracking the Thursday-Friday storm closely. Make sure you are subscribed and have notifications on so you do not miss that update. This is not hype. This is not exaggeration. History will remember Winter Storm Hernando as one of the defining weather events for this generation of Northeasterners. You have been warned. You have the information. What you do with it is up to you. One final question. Knowing that this storm is getting significantly less attention than the previous, smaller storm despite being categorically more dangerous, what does that tell us about how prepared we really are when the big one finally arrives?